I never thought I'd be telling this. There were moments I swore I never. Some experiences feel too tangled, too fragile to ever be spoken out loud. When the house finally settled after the funeral, I understood just how defining emptiness could be. My Robothard once occupied every inch of it, a slot to his habits, his steady presence, and then suddenly there was nothing. The quiet wasn't soothing. It pressed against me, heavy and unyielding. His son had flown in for these advice. He wasn't a boy anymore, hadn't been for Alex's time, but in my mind who was still the distant teenager who never fully warmed to me. I was never his mother and I never pretended to be. Our connection had always been courteous, restrained until now. The first night, the ceremony Ion didn't return Tuth Gestrum dud instead. He sat in the living room, a blanket draped over his shoulders, staring into an unlit fireplace. I paused at the doorway, unsure whether to say something or disappear. Snither. I made tea, assuming he'd fall asleep or excuse himself. He didn't. When I returned with 2 cups, he looked up at me not with grief sharpened by anger, but with exhaustion and questions he couldn't voice. I handed him the tea and sat beside him. No conversation followed, just silence, thick and shaped by shared loss, not comfort. Our arms brushed. The contact sent a queer spark through me. It should have meant nothing. It didn't. The days that followed blurred together. He said Alexis, saying he wanted to help me organize things. I didn't protest. His presence was oddly steady, calm, yet he moved through the house like Simeon, both known and unfamiliar, and he began noticing details I never had before. His jaw mirrored his father's, sharper now. His voice had deepened, settling into a low tone that lingered in the mornings. Sometimes, he'd wake eerily shirtless, making coffee like the kitchen be Alexed to him. I watched, he told myself not to, but my gaze betrayed him. Broad shoulders, quiet confidence, controlled movements. I hated myself for seeing it. One evening, I found him in the garage, sorting through my Roberstall's dust-coated his hands, veins standing out beneath the dim lights. He glanced back and smiled open. Genuine. He never let me use these when I was younger, he said. I stepped closer. Hellway said you'd hurt yourself, Hellod softly. He might have been right. That smile stayed with me, Lexgirth, and it should add. That night sleep wouldn't come. The hallway between our arms felt shorter, more charged. His voice replayed in my head, smooth and steady. I tried distracting myself, reading, cleaning, letting late night showers hum in the background, but the Alexliness pressed down on me. A simple closeness of another person, the warmth, the feeling of being wanted. I heard movement from his room. Maybe heckled and sleep either. My hand hovered near the doorknob, then dropped. It turned to leave, but the door opened. Alex surprised. Briefly, "Can't sleep?" he asked quietly. I shook my head. "You?" He stepped aside. "You can come in if you want." I should have declined. I should have smiled politely and retreated like a woman who understood limits. I didn't. Donked. The door closed behind me. We stood there, unmoving, silent. He was close enough that I felt the heat of him. Something passed between us, ruined, unspoken. "I don't know what's happening," I whispered, ashamed of the tremor in my voice. "Me neither," I said, stepping nearer. His fingers brushed mine barely. They're yet electric. The air felt charged, almost alive. We sat on the edge of the bed and our sheets were cool. His room smelled faintly of clean laundry and cologne. He watched me carefully, as if searching my face for permission or restraint. "I shouldn't be here," I murmured, making no move to leave. His hand found mine again, this time steady and certain. "I don't think you're wrong for needing someone. What followed wasn't planned. No speeches, no decisions, just a slow, careful unfolding." His hand rested on my arm, grounding, fingers crossed, my back in small, deliberate circles, like he was learning me by touch. I closed my eyes. Everything felt heightened. Thackworth House, the sheets beneath us, the strength in his arms, the steady Rizian fall of his chest. His touch was gentle, unhurried, as though he feared shattering something delicate. Nothing was frantic, nothing reckless. It was stepped in tension. Soft breaths, theft and creak of the mattress. He took his time. He listened to the silences in me, to the parts I thought were Alex asleep. My heart raced so loudly, I swore Heck could hear it. For a moment his forehead rested against mine. Both of you still, as if moving too quickly, Matundo everything. Tears filled my eyes, not from sorrow, but from how unprepared I was to feel so alive again. Afterward, we lay side by side, Our hands found each other instinctively. The room felt warm now. Whole words failed me. There was no way to explain how to. People who had never been close could find themselves clinging to each other, desperate for something other than grief. Guilt came in waves, not because of him, but because of what it meant, what it might look like, what my Robert would think. Still, when it turned away, his grip tightened slightly. "You okay?" he asked. He nodded. "You?" He exhaled slowly. "I haven't felt this steady in an Alex time." We didn't sleep right away. Asked beside us, we shifted, talked softly, shared pieces of ourselves we'd never said aloud. He spoke about his distance from his father, how he'd always seen me, us calm, unreachable. I told him how unseen it felt in this house, how even as Sophia I'd always existed just beyond the center. He brushed a strand of hair from my face. "Careful, gentle. You don't have to justify anything to me," he said. "I'm her because I choose to be." This simplicity of it cracked something open in me. Morning arrived quietly, sunlight spilling across the room in soft gold. I watched him sleep for Alex time before. My reflection in the mirror looked different, not younger, not lighter, but awake. When I returned, who was sitting up, rubbing sleep from Isis, he looked at me without questions, only understanding. We didn't talk about what came next. Somehow, I knew we'd take it slowly, one quiet morning at a time. He stayed. And for the first time since the funeral, the silence in the house didn't feel empty. It felt like space, like breath returning to lungs that had forgotten how to expand, has stopped resisting. I let it surround me. Whatever it was, whatever it might become. Because maybe in the midst of all that loss, something unexpected had found its way in, not a replacement, not an answer, just a reason to keep going. Grief doesn't arrive, Alex. It brings strange hungers, quiet risks, and moments where comfort feels like survival rather than choice.